Welcome to minimalList. We are Joe, Michael and Springer Spaniel George, and we've been continuously cruising on our narrowboat Perseverance since 2017. Perseverance turns out to be a very appropriate name for our boat, as over the last 4 years we've been on a quest to go absolutely everywhere on the connected waterways of England and Wales, which also led me to create some tube-style maps of the waterway system which we sell online. It's now time to give Perseverance some very overdue TLC and tackle all of the jobs that we've been planning and putting off since we moved aboard 4 years ago.
Morning. So today we're doing bathroom renovation, or well, actually demolition, but I'm not allowed to use the word demolition. The plan is to disable the bathroom sink. We also need to disconnect the toilet and just move it temporarily so that I can take apart, boxing in, I guess, triangling in this case, that they did. They created this platform here to allow the old pump-out toilet to sit and to have some of its plumbing run underneath. There is, I believe, still some hosing and stuff that are just left in there because of the when we took out the pump toilet, there was no reason to like disconnect it all. So I think we just walked off. I can't remember for sure. But yeah, that has to come out so that I can lift up the flooring piece and cut out the bit that is the actual support structure for where the toilet goes. That, plus tearing out the lino, should get us all the way back to bare plywood. So that at that point we can kind of survey and see what sort of damage in terms of water has occurred in here. Everything is just tired, and why not, make it better. So we're going to try a few things in here. We're going to test stripping the urethane or whatever it is off the walls and use this as sort of the patch place where we test out the idea of doing some whitewashing over the wood to get the green, but to get everything lighter in here rather than going to a completely solid color. We could also test out a few different colors, because whitewashing, it doesn't necessarily have to be white. It could be like a blue or a cream color or something. And if all else fails, we can get to the point and go, okay, well, the bathroom is actually a place where completely opaque, nice white color might be actually better for us. The shower is really just a refresh. Put in some new taps. It'd be better to have a new shower head. It would be better to have a thermostatic tap so that we don't either freeze or scald ourselves, which is what I've been doing a lot of. So there's some refresh in there, but the big design choices are in here because historically, because of the need for them to mount a pump out and the decision that was made, I guess when these boats were ordered, somebody spec'd out from a number of different options what they wanted, and they requested a pump out. But the only place to put the black water tank was under the bed, so they had to run piping under there. So I think they just made the decision that the easiest place to do that was to put the pump out over against the wall, which makes sense, but it means that the pump out was at a weird 45-degree angle, and it had to have that raise up, so it was already at kind of a strange height. So we definitely want to move it down. I don't want to stay at 45 degrees because when the Everspock is running and hot water's heating up, this gets quite hot, and I burn my knees on it. So for me, it would make more sense to put the basin here. The other advantage of putting the basin here is that the drainage could be just right out the through hole, which is, I believe, right near here, which then would not have to have the shower sump, which we've had fail a couple of times where the box has overfilled and the seal's gone, and we've ended up with water all over the place and water damage with soap and all of the other stuff that goes along with it. I'd rather get rid of that entirely. So it would be nice to move the sink over here if we could just drain out. The other advantage of that being that if we decide to switch to a cassette in the future, we could just go through the wall to have the place where we pull out the cassettes. If we decide to go to a flame toilet, then we need to run a hose up anyway. So
I think what we're going to do is clear all this stuff out and then just move the toilet because it's very movable and just see what it looks like in various places.
Yeah, in place and
tape out where the sink would go.
Yeah, and then make the decision. And then we're going to have to rough in a cabinet because of what's down here where they've boxed in underneath this radiator. That's where all of the water is flowing currently. That obviously will have to continue that way one way or another, whether it's we put in a cabinet here or we, you know, rebox it in all the way. We still have to think about that, and there's some electrics and things to worry about. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, the shelf cannot come out without disassembling the feed hose or the drain hose, and there's no cutoff in here. So there's two gray pipes that are going under the bed.
So we've just looked under the bed and there's the water inlet pipes coming in with no valves to turn them off, and we've traced them all the way back over there, and then the first taps are over behind the batteries there.
Which may or may not be for the sink.
Coming off our calorifier are two, probably about 20 mil pipes, exterior diameter, not sure what the interior diameter is, that are coming off, curving around, going back. Then they have a T-junction that splits them to do the feed for the bathroom sink, and then the other two will continue forward, which ultimately must feed both the tub and possibly the kitchen sink. Probably the kitchen sink. It's probably the hot and cold water feed for the whole thing. There's no cutoffs on any of it, which is great. So what we have to do is turn off the feed to the calorifier, which is going to be these two down here, then drain all of the water out of the rest of the pipes. It's not a lot of water in those pipes, but there's all the water in the calorifier. Realistically, we want to cut it off down there so that we could turn off all of our units, right? And then we'd also want to put cutoffs specifically here so we can re-enable the kitchen sink.
So how did we do it when we did the kitchen taps?
We drained everything.
Oh, so that's what we've got to do again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which if we just turn off the pump and we let it run, that'll drain whatever's in the calorifier out, but we're going to lose all that water, which is fine. It's just we're going to have to make a trip to get water sooner than.
But then we're not going to have a shower soon, so.
Yeah, we're just going to have a kitchen sink. So probably what we should do is run and try and find those cutoffs. Now the problem is that these pipes are very old and are not anywhere, like they're not what you would use these days. So most of your B&Q guys and everybody will say, oh no, you have to replace all of the piping, right? So it's all got to be the new press fit stuff, because it can't be the old press fit stuff because they can't mate with each other. Now the fact is I've done a couple of things where they have mated with each other, so it's not, really that.
So what do you want to do? Drain it or put in the cutoff?
I think we have to do both.
But today, now.
If we drain it, we have to do the cutoffs.
So we have to go to the shops.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately.
So we've got the two hoses that are coming down. We've got the two pipes that are coming off of a T-bar over there. They're coming down, and then there's a 90-degree bend that takes them in underneath the cabinet back there. They then turn up and go up to the faucet to feed the faucet. So when we go and turn off the main feed at the front, that means that none of the fresh water system will run into the pressurized part in the calorifier and everything. When we turn that off, what will happen is we will open up the sink, and the water will drain up and over, and the pressure will push quite a bit of it through. But it'll leave water in the vertical part. So what I'm going to need to do is go back in there and unhook it from inside so that I can drain it as low as I can before I try and do this, because otherwise I'm going to end up with everything that's in there, that's still in there, draining out through these two pipes. And there's nowhere for me to put anything under there to do anything other than soak it up like from dry. So
The easy part is removing our separator toilet because it's designed to be taken in and out of the bathroom for emptying.
So I'm just detaching the pipe that we're using for drainage, which is not a pipe, it's a hose.
Waste.
Yeah, the waste hose. So it's just on there with the Jubilee clamp and pressure. So if I get the Jubilee clip all the way off. There. So it's gone loose. So that's free. Ugh, and it's gross.
The next step is to disconnect the tap from the water supply. It takes a while and proves to be a little harder than we expected.
That's one. Just having a hard time getting a grip on the other pipe.
Which one? Oh, the back
The
one.
one that's not disconnected. It's physically too tight. Right up under a fingernail. Connection. Oh, I can get the water out of this one.
It's the bottom.
There we go. There's the bottom shelf. With the bottom shelf out, that means I can get the top shelf out. Not quite.
How come the bottom one come out and not that one?
Because they've got different pieces blocking them. Okay, now here comes the shelf. Okay, now I can get rid of all the work I did putting this pump in place. Ah, fuck off! Fuck off, fuck. Fucking hell. Joe?
Yeah?
Turn the power off to that thing.
Which one is that?
That one. Okay, should have thought of that. Should have thought of that one. Oh.
The pump has a sensor so that when the water in the sump gets to a certain level, the pump kicks in and sends the water out, which is what's just happened. Michael disconnected the waste pipe but forgot to turn the power to the pump off. So as he tilted the sump, the water reached the critical level and the pump kicked in. And as the waste pipe's no longer connected, well, you saw what happened.
Okay, pump's disconnected. So that's our shower sump pump, which unfortunately I forgot to disconnect before it turned off, shooting a whole bunch of muck straight into the air. When the pump kicked in, it started spewing crap out of here, so I had to put my hand on it and hold it in place. And that caused it to keep trying to pump because it's like, I can't get evacuated. So then I'm like, Joe, can you turn this thing off? Which one? I don't care.
I got it,
Turn
didn't
them
I? With the waste pipe and taps finally disconnected, we try and take the sink out. The basin is stuck fast to the worktop, so we go to plan B, which is to take the basin and worktop out in one piece. The sink top is actually loose now, but it's being held down by the tile at the back, which is held in place by these metal edges that are screwed on, and then there's this rubber glue stuff.
Which is Sikaflex, I think, which explains why it's not coming off. So I think what I'm going to have to do is break the tile.
Yeah.
And then just
Clean the wall up afterwards.
Yeah.
Sikaflex is not the stuff you want to use for interior tiling.
So yeah, the tiles have been stuck on, this metal thing's been screwed on, and then this is just gunk that's going to cause us hell.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's either Sikaflex or some other marine sealant.
Not good.
Yeah. See, I thought this was... not actually marble.
It's a nice tile, but it doesn't... Because this is this the same?
I'm not sure. That's the good stuff if you never want to take it off again.
That's a nice big bit.
Yeah, this one's been coming out more.
It looks like they've used less glue. Looks like they used less
Yeah.
gunk.
Yeah, it's a lot less.
Oh, you're leaking. Stay there.
Stay in here. It's okay.
What?
Well, I was going to say that it will come straight out the bottom as soon as I go vertical.
Yeah, I don't want it running down you.
Okay. But you might want to put that back. And
You need me to grab the other half of it.
okay, something fell down there. Well,
You
no.
can probably use that as a handle and the drain.
I just need to know where I'm taking it.
The valve.
Okay, can you grab the towel out of the way? Good.
Now we just need to take the rest of the battens out and then we should be able to remove the whole unit.
Ouch. Found a piece of rock.
This piece of oak covered the waste pipe as it travelled from the basin to the skin fitting, and I'll be quite happy to see it gone.
These two.
So this is just capping off the water supply that went under the bed and into the bathroom for the sink.
Yeah, so that's our hot water feed, that's our cold water feed. I've just taken the elbow off here, I'll take the elbow off there, and then I'm going to put these 15mm instuts on. And hopefully then we will be able to pressurize the system again. No water will come shooting out of here, and we'll be able to use our shower and our kitchen sink again.
Yep.
Right.
Water pump. Ready?
Yep. No, turn it off. Okay, this time it's not clicking or anything. Let's see how it does when it reaches full pressure. Okay, good.
These are so rusted.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, it's the last time they'll ever come out of anything.
Doesn't this bathroom look really trashed? Like desperate for
A refit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's been like for a couple of years. That is why I've been really like, we need to do this.
So we're going to have to take the radiator off the wall to...
No, hopefully not. Not unless something goes...
No, I mean to paint behind it.
Oh, well, we could, and I could replace the radiator, which, by the way, if you want radiant floors, you gotta tell me now.
What's radiant for?
Heated floor in the bathroom. Because I can do that for you, but you gotta let me know before we...
No, I just... this is an okay condition apart from where that magnet got stuck on it.
Yeah, well, they're also damn near free, so, like, they're very cheap.
Oh, it's rusted here.
Yeah.
So
replacing it is not a problem.
Well, I just think it needs to come off because we're going to need to prepare the surface behind.
Right. Well, like I say, replacing it's not a problem, and we could put in radiant flooring instead, and then we'd heat up the flooring under here.
Well, I don't really want that, if I'm honest.
Okay, well, fair enough.
No, that's not working.
Alright.
Is that the wrong bit?
I don't know. I can't see it. I might have to drill it out. Because these were in shit condition.
Oh my god, Michael, we're both in the bathroom.
I know. How is that even possible? Alright. Yeah, wrong bit. And yet also probably the...
Georgie, are you helping? Have you been a good boy?
There we go, easy one. Whoops.
Oh. Hello.
That's the bit I knew was in there.
Put it there anyway.
Okay. So, rather comedically, that's our pump out. This is where the vacuum would attach, and here's our outflow. And all we did, as a safety precaution to keep anybody from flooding the boat, was connect this pipe to that pipe. We will have to disconnect both, and we will have to cut them off, like end cap them, right? So...
But it's just quite funny how it's set up at the moment.
Yeah. So we're going to disconnect them now. I'm going to take this off, and that off. And that will let us... this is a sewage pipe.
So that
needs to go up.
I'll get a rubble sack.
Yeah. I seem to remember we may have... This might actually be new pipe that never got used. Can't remember.
I don't think we bought any pipe, did we? So yeah, that hole goes straight through to the bedroom. We just blocked it up.
What?
That hole goes straight under the bed. We blocked it up.
Oh yeah, right.
And yeah, Michael's just noticed that this pipe here is the waste from the basin, and even though we had a powerful pump on there, it was quite slow to suck the water, and it's pretty
Gross.
Yeah, disabled.
And this rather suggestive looking pipe really needs to be capped off.
As does that one.
As does that.
Unless we put a pump out back in, which, you know, isn't ruled out at this stage.
We haven't completely ruled it up. So that's why I would cap them off rather than... Yeah.
And then the last job we're going to do today, because it is getting dark now, is just remove this little platform, I think,
Yeah.
from the bathroom floor. Should just peel up. But it looks like they've stuck it down with something, black stuff again. Please don't go flying back.
That goes all in one thing. So I'm gonna do exactly that.
Have you seen any screws?
Not yet. Not screws nor nails. Brute force.
And something's leaked at some point. Nice.
Definitely.
So the lino is up and it was stuck down fast, so that was a bit of a mission. We used the multi-tool with a scraper attachment, as Michael is demonstrating. It still needs a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. And then we'll use the scraper tool to get rid of the sticky sticker flex or mastic or whatever. But these little wooden bits that are still attached, so Michael's going in with the blade. But we think we're going to tile up to here anyway, so we're not too worried about preserving the wood. Yeah, we'll have a tile splashback, we think. So, yep, that's where we're at.